go make money.
What's up, everybody? Episode 51, NFL Week 6, coming at you. Starting to get a little more clarity out there about who's good, who's not good.
No.
Some teams are coming around, and no.
That's not true.
No, it's not true.
No, we know that the same teams that have been good or continue to be good, and some of the teams that we thought were good are not looking as good, and the ones that were bad continue to be bad.
Well, I mean, look, the Bengals played with the Ravens, and they've been looking like shit. I mean, I know they still lost, but they put up 38 points on the Ravens. It's like, whoa, okay. Sorry, 35 points. But
does that mean that they're good? No.
It does. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that are pretty close with each other these days. I mean, we saw it with the freaking Giants without Neighbors and without Singletary going in and
that is
beating up on the Seahawks in
I'll
Seattle.
Give you that one.
What the hell?
I will give you that one.
So it's a little bit close in this league, and that's why it makes betting a little interesting.
Very difficult to bet.
But in this week, look, this is only Wednesday here, so there's a lot more to play out, and we'll talk about that with the injuries and all that stuff. But we're starting off, people in the news, players in the news, let's face it, and fucking Jets. It's got to fucking be the jetsiest Jets shit ever with the fucking Jets.
Listen, you just wanted to take over the entire fucking week before our big game. Talk about the Jets. That's all we need to listen to is talk about the Jets.
Oh, this is what we want to talk about? We don't want to talk about this at all.
No, bad news is some news. Right?
No. It's not like
no news is good news.
Yeah, like bad press is good press.
That's what
No.
bad press is good press.
No. Robert Saleh fired from the Jets, and I'll be honest with you, I don't love it. I don't think this makes their team better at this point. I've seen this happen in other, like let's say the Raiders last year. They fired McDaniels. They put in Antonio Pierce. Basically, like he changes the attitude of the locker room. He's a defensive guy, and it's like, all right, we're the Raiders now. We're tough guys. We're not this like, this is a different thing. We're going from a defensive coordinator who is running a defense who was great, and the Jets defense has done everything we thought they should be doing, and then you're giving and turning the keys over to Ulbrich, who, look, he's good. He's one of Sal's boys. They're boys together, but I don't really understand how that's going to make them better or provide a spark in any way. The offense is the problem, and we still have Hackett, and maybe you're going to end up getting a play caller that switches to Todd Downing, and we tried it last year when we had the fucking Tim Boyle shit and all this other stuff. That didn't work out. So I don't think that anybody is in the building that's going to be a good offensive play caller. It's going to come down to good quarterback play. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be the guy to do it? We're too predictable. There's a lot of issues, but firing the head coach, he's been really dealt a nice little shit sandwich in this one.
Absolutely. Definitely got the shit on the stick. And I don't know, I watched with you the interview with Aaron today on Pat McAfee, and I thought he was going to fuck himself over because he's such a dick. And I think he kind of did a little bit in how he answered some of the questions. He said he got a call Monday night from Woody, but it had nothing to do with what's his face. It was just, how you feeling after you got hurt in the game yesterday? You doing better? It's like, there's no way that man out of nowhere decided to call you, check up on you, and then the next morning decides to fire your friend who you're really close with, him and his family and all that, and not say anything. I don't know. I think it's a little sketchy. Also, you said you're not going to get rid of Hackett, who everybody's been complaining about being terrible, and the one who's calling the offensive plays, and which is why they are shitting the bed. I don't get it.
It's just like, look, these offenses are complicated. They're very particular. This is the one that Aaron Rodgers runs, which is why you brought Hackett in, because he's the guy who runs the offense with him in, Green Bay and all that stuff, and the connections there. There's nobody in the building right now that's going to take over play calling for that offense. So you can't just hire somebody who's on the street right now and bring him in. That doesn't work. So you're kind of fucked.
But you guys have never gotten rid of a coach in the middle of the season, and you choose week 5 again when you say he's the defensive coach and they have the best defense. It just doesn't. I don't know. I feel like there's something there. My little hate the Jets brain is saying Aaron Rodgers was definitely telling Woody, "I get rid of him. I can't do it anymore." And Woody Johnson listened, but that would be kind of crazy too for him to listen to his quarterback instead of doing what's good for the whole team. I don't know. It's very strange. We'll find out probably next year what really happened.
I think it's more likely that basically what happens is they go into the London game, and Woody Johnson was the previous ambassador to the UK, and he's got all the guys in the box that are his billionaire friends, and it's embarrassing to lose there in front of his boys, and he probably got sick of it. And he had to make a move, and he's obviously not going to get rid of an Aaron, not going to tell somebody to put Tyrod Taylor in. I mean, it's just, unfortunately, it is what it is, and I think he wanted to make a move, and I think it was just a bad move, so. And then, this parlays into the other guy we're going to talk about, Davante.
Yeah.
We're out of the race there, right? I mean, you can't, who's going to go to this fucking bullshit?
Right, so they've already, whatever Davante thinks, it's just been put out in the world that there's no way he's going to go to the Jets. Apparently, Stephen A. Smith is getting involved in it and saying, don't go to the Jets. It's a big mistake. I don't even think he's considering the Jets anymore. I mean, you basically leaving the Raiders to go back into a Raiders situation now that you guys got rid of Saleh. So right now it sounds like, and I know there's a few other teams, but they're really hitting hard on the Buffalo Bills or the Steelers, going to either two of those teams instead. Listen, I welcome you with open arms. Buffalo is a great city. You used to go to Green Bay. This is same weather, but cooler stuff to do and more people, So I don't know. I would love it. But yeah, you guys definitely fucked yourself on that possibility.
Yeah, look, I mean, if the Steelers do it, one of the things that people are talking about is if you do a trade, obviously Davante wants out of there, you got to give up a pick or two or whatever, depending on the combination of picks. You got to pay him, basically restructure his contract. And then the third thing is you probably want to maybe get a swap with another receiver. So the Jets probably would have went out with Alan Lazard and said, hey, take him, or Mike Williams, one of those guys. And maybe for the Steelers, it would have been this guy, who you're going to talk about next too, right?
Yeah, we got Pickens up here. I didn't even, really hear about this that much. I guess probably because we all had to talk about the Jets, as I said, for the last few days. But homie over here decided to write on his, black... what do you call that? The black eye black, whatever. I'm sorry, girls weren't allowed to play football, so we didn't know this stuff. He actually wrote "always fucking open" on him, and Tomlinson had no idea when he was asked. He's like, I don't know what was written on his eye black. I didn't notice anything that was. But apparently, according to NFL rules, you're not allowed to have anything in writing that's inappropriate, and. So now they're looking into it and determining what his fine would be, blah, blah, blah. But, dude, if you just left fucking off of there, this would have been fine. You're really poking the bear unnecessarily with that one. And
apparently he's been not happy about how he's being used over there. And they actually cut his play count to a third of the plays. And he was targeted maybe 6 times for 3 catches and 27 yards. So it's he's not happy. That's why I was saying that maybe he's a guy that they could ship off and say, hey, you're not happy? Go over to fucking the Raiders,
Lord. Yeah. Well, you guys would be grateful that it's not the Bills then.
Yeah, I would definitely like it. And last up on here is Jabril Peppers. So this is a safety and captain for New England Patriots. He was arrested. And there was an issue, domestic dispute with a female. Apparently, he was arrested for some strangulation, and there was also drug possession. They said there was probably cocaine at the scene. So he's dealing with a shoulder injury, but maybe not the type of shit you should be involved in with beating up and strangling a girlfriend there,
Absolutely not. And the NFL came out today specifically saying that arrests have been down tremendously since last year. In this first 5 weeks, it's just but all we're hearing about is stupid ridiculousness that's happening. And this guy does it in the middle of the season on top of it. None of it's good, but in the middle of the season, while you're injured, you decide to go and have drugs on you and then get angry because you're on the drugs probably. So stupid, so dumb.
I also don't understand. How come it's not the guy who's the backup or the third string guy that gets arrested?
The frontline players.
Yeah, you got to have the starters are the ones with the problems. What the hell are we doing here? So
Morons.
All right, next up, how do we do betting? Similar to the last couple weeks. A little bit worse than average here. For myself, one bad thing, you got a good bet going. You like the Seahawks bet. You think the Giants are gonna, and then all of a sudden you're having a few cocktails. You add on. Next thing you know, you're down 4.75 units on the Seahawks, and so that's not great.
Not great. That's actually a lot, Josh. Jesus.
Yeah, not great. So look, there was some other ones like the Raiders Broncos over was a good one for me. Both of our locks, right? The locks the last 2 weeks 4-0 for the two of us. So the ones we like are really hitting here. and it's 70% on the year. But yeah, net down a couple units. Not the end of the world, but
I got a push, and at this point, a push is definitely a win.
that's right.
So
Yeah, the 3
definitely take
points
that.
for sure.
All right. Well,
All
let's
right.
not focus on that too much.
Let's not focus on it. All right, moving on to the injury report. Who's up? I mean, this one, the first one was a big one. Derek Carr.
Yeah, it just happened recently. He's out with obliques, and it's probably going to be a couple weeks. So he's definitely not playing this week, and most likely not next week. I think they're going to be looking more into week 8.
Yep,
6.
probably.
We're doing 6,
Yep.
week 8. So count him out, and his little backup. I didn't even know his name.
Yeah, we looked it in. I said, who went in for him? Who was the backup? And they said, oh, this guy, whatever, Tyler Hayner or whatever the hell his name is.
Hayner, that's what it was.
He was like 2 of 7 or something like that. And then I was talking to Christina about this. I said, wait a minute, they drafted that guy, Spencer Rattler, as the 3rd string. He's a 3rd string, though? That's kind of weird. They draft a guy, late round, 5th round pick. People thought he might go up in the 2nd, 3rd round. They're not going to give him a shot. That's weird. You get this no-name guy. Wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden he's starting, and it looks like they're looking at potentially starting Rattler in there. So, the guy has got an arm. He's been a good prospect for a long time, but going to throw him to the Wolves.
Let's hold your horses. Yeah, it's a little too much. I also have Nico.
Well, he's a little too much. Tyler Hayner ain't going to do it for you.
No, I said that's a little too much because I'm pretty sure I'm betting against the Saints, and I don't.
Oh, I see.
Let's not give him too much credit here.
No, yeah, I'm not.
Nico Collins also out. If you watched the Bills-Texans game, as I did, he got out. He got hurt pretty early on. I think at some point in the first quarter with a hamstring. Walked right off into the locker room, so you knew. But he'll definitely not be playing this weekend as well.
Yep. Thibodeau out for the Giants with the wrist, and then who knows? On the neighbor's end, he's not cleared yet as of Wednesday. But look, they got the W without him, so who knows what the hell's going to happen with that team? But yeah, it looks like Singletary will be playing. It seems so.
That's good for you guys. He's good. Christian Wilkins for the Raiders. He got a foot boo-boo. He's out. And then Josh will tell you about our probables.
Oh yeah. Look, the big news for the Eagles, they're getting back A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So, 2 big receivers for them, having them back, probably going to go and expecting them back this week. And then just the last one would be Evan Ingram, tight end for the Jags. He hasn't played since week 1. He's actually going to be probable here, coming back off a hamstring injury. So maybe the Jags could use a little bit of a boost there. All right, getting into the games. First up, Thursday Night Football, San Francisco 49ers at the Seahawks. And again, both of these teams coming off of disappointing losses. You had the San Francisco 49ers get beat by the Cardinals, which is weird, a little bit of a shocking thing, 24-23. And then, the the Seahawks with the Giants was wild.
Crazy. No one expect that.
I saw Danny Dimes on the sideline and I don't know, something positive happened. He was so giddy and he was jumping up and down like a kid, and I was like, I'm good for them,
They're talking about how this is what it looks like when you haven't really gotten to celebrate anything in the first 5 weeks of NFL season. So this is what you do.
Yeah.
I think it's the same people that also identified Caleb Williams as his first win, and he didn't even know how to run out into the locker room at the end of the game happily enough. He was
jumping up and down,
galloping a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, I think I'm not betting this one. We're both leaning on the Niners here.
We're still worried we still think of the Niners as last year's Niners, I believe, and so I'm a little nervous about them. But also the Seahawks, looked great for a couple weeks. Now they're starting to tank a little bit, so you just don't know.
Look, there's a lot of injuries still, but at the end of the day, the Niners offense is still putting up a lot of yards, actually. So if you look at it by yards per game, they're still putting up a top 10 type of offense. Again, 3.5 on the road, but Seahawks just lost on the road there. Sorry, at home there. So definitely doable, but you just kind of don't know who you're going to get on these teams. Yeah. So we're going to lay off.
People.
Yep.
We're leaning.
All right, Jags going to the Bears. This is another one where we're both leaning on different ways here. It's in London, right? So you get the old London game action. I just feel like it's tough because of the matchups on each side. And
well, I'm looking at it. The Jags beat the Colts last week, so they finally got their first win. Now they have to go to London. But this is the team that goes to London every
All the
year,
time.
plays 2 games. Like, they're the ones that have to do it constantly. They're the only team that, which I am not jealous of them for, but they're the only team that is doing this over and over again. So for that small little reason, I definitely would lean on them winning this one over the Bears, because everybody else has to. It's like kind of culture shock when you get there, just with all the time changing and blah blah blah. But the Jaguars at this point have figured out how to do it, and they have more wins in London than anybody else because they're always there. So that's why I would give it to them.
Yep, I'm staying away.
Yeah, I'm not getting up to watch it. Don't care, but that's my thinking. All right, we got the Colts at the Titans. We are both putting money on this game, but in different ways. I'm taking the Titans. I kind of like pick'ems. That seems to be my thing. It seems fun to do that. And I don't know, Titans are coming off a bye week. That's always huge for teams. I mean, I know it's a little early on the season for the bye week, but hey, you get an extra time to rest where the Colts have not.
And time to prepare specifically for this team.
Colts, and they just lost to the Jaguars. So
Yep.
I think that all kind of helps lean towards this pick 'em, and that's why I'm taking the Titans.
Yeah, for me, it's like both of them have okay offenses, but bad defenses. If you're looking at it purely like yards per game. So with the bad defenses on both sides of the ball, I think they should be able to hit this 42.5, which is a pretty low total. So I'm betting on them. I feel like the Titans are definitely good for 23, and if the Colts can make it a good game, we should be able to hit that 42.5.
We'll see. Maybe we can both win.
I hope so. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals going to Green Bay, and they're going to be in a little bit of rain there. So that definitely matters. I'm going with the Packers. You're going with it too. I think they're just better on the matchup wise. They're better on both sides of the ball than the Cardinals are. I know they're coming off a good win though, but
The Cardinals.
the Cardinals are coming off a good win there.
But Green Bay's at home. That's helpful. Jordan Love, I think, is getting back into a groove. -5, decent spread. It just seems to make sense.
I like it. Yep, I like it a lot. All right, next up, Browns at the Eagles. I mean, the Browns got to win, right? They finally got the W this last weekend. But, with the Eagles coming off a bye here, I feel like it's tough. But look at this spread, 9 points. You think it's 9 points worth of spread?
No, that's why I'm leaning on the Browns, but I'm not going to bet it because the Browns also suck. Deshaun Watson sucks. But if you said it was like a -5 Eagles bet, I would maybe actually put money on that. But anything over, because the Eagles don't know what the fuck they're doing too half the time. I know they had a bye, which is great. Browns are just kind of falling apart, but who knows? Maybe the Eagles will dominate. I have no idea. There's no statistic to prove that the Eagles can cover this spread because they've won a couple games, never looked good though winning them. They've lost some really easy games.
Yeah.
So I would just lean on the Browns, but again, I don't want to put any money on.
Yeah, when you think about the Browns, you think about them having a really good defense, but if you look at it, their rush defense has actually not been that good, and their pass defense has been good. And if you think about that matchup with the Eagles run the ball. They're really good with Saquon and all that stuff. So you got Saquon going up against a defense that's not doing a good job stopping the run. You'd think, but that's why it's fucking -9 points. So staying away from it. Too many points.
Yeah, Hurts might throw a pick or two in there, and that's what could ruin the whole spread.
Yes and yes.
All right, well, moving on to the Bucks at the Saints. I'm taking the Bucks. Josh is leaning on them. We already told you earlier, Derek Carr is out. He's going to be out for a few weeks. They're going to a backup I never heard of, and then their second option is the rookie that they drafted, but he got moved to the third string quarterback. So I feel like it's just going to be a terrible situation for the Saints until Derek Carr gets back. And the Bucks have been good. Now I know they lost a couple games, didn't look great against the Broncos like at all. They looked terrible. You could say the same thing about the Bills, which I would never do. It's not like we all lost hope and these are not good teams. This is a chance for the Bucks to dominate. And I feel like that -3.5 spread is something that they'll cover.
Yeah, I agree with you. I might end up throwing some money on that one.
Probably should. That one looks like a good one.
This is a tough one. Commanders at the Ravens. This is a game I want to watch.
Yes.
100%, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Commanders have like been putting up a lot of points, this splashy offense and all that, but then the Ravens are just fucking.
I think this is a game where the Commanders are going to kind of get shown what it is, just like the Bills did. You get there. The Ravens are at home. The Ravens have figured out how to make things work, and Derrick Henry's living on cloud nine, doing all these crazy angry runs that he's doing. And again, the Commanders are a great team. They are a strong team, but they haven't gone up against anybody like this, and especially in their own house, like the Ravens' home.
Yep.
So I would lean on the Ravens, but at the same time, I wouldn't be mad if the Commanders even beat the Ravens. So like that's why I don't want to put any money on it. I want to watch it. But if you're looking at these two teams week to week, I think the Commanders might get a little check,
Yeah, they should be. I mean, I know that like last week there was a lot of points scored by the Ravens, but they also let up a lot of points. If you just look at yards per game on offense and then what you let up on defense, the Ravens are number one on both sides of the ball through week 5. So I agree with you. They're getting a reality check, and if the Commanders happen to come away with this one, people are going to be talking about maybe they're fucking favorites to win the NFC and everything.
It'll change everything, but they're a new good team. Like you have to remember that the Ravens are not a new good team. So this is kind of like, this is the first time this season that they're going to be put into, I think, a very difficult situation. And yeah, if they could come through, I think they should just automatically be Super Bowl contenders and probably going to be in the Super Bowl kind of thing. But
yeah, I mean,
we'll jump on that whole. They were the best. There's nobody better, but it's good for them. I just don't see it.
The Commanders 22nd in the league against stopping the run, and here's Derrick Henry and here's Lamar Jackson. Good luck, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. All right, this one's my lock of the week. Houston Texans going to the Patriots, and I bet on the Patriots last week, and that was a bad idea. 15-10 game, very boring. I think in this one, they're starting Drake May, which is, maybe an upgrade versus Jacoby Brissett. Maybe not, though, because supposedly in practice and everything else, that Jacoby Brissett looks a lot better. The line's got issues. And I feel like DeMeco Ryans for the Texans is going to put together a bunch of stuff to rattle the rookie, crazy blitzes. I mean, we even saw Aaron Rodgers last week. They're showing a full all-out blitz, and then they drop somebody off the line. He didn't see him out of the corner of his eye, and he threw a pick 6. That's a guy who's been in the league for 20 years. You do that to a guy who's just his first start. I don't think it's going to go well. Texans have the number 1 passing offense in the league against the 25th ranked pass defense with the Patriots. I think they're going to be able to throw the ball around, and I think that the 7 points is actually going to be easy for the Texans to get it going, and that's why it's my lock of the week.
I mean, there's nothing else I can add because that's exactly what it is. You got Drake, Patriots with Drake May against the Texans. That's all I have to say.
Imagine that. It's like, this is my lock of the week.
Yeah.
Patriots for Drake May.
I'm not the educated one in all this, and right away I knew, well, definitely Texans all day. Like, this is just, with a Drake May especially, I don't know, it should be easy money. That's a good lock.
Yep. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Raiders. I mean, there's some interesting stuff going on there. So Justin Fields is still starting. Russell Wilson is fully participating in practice, so they can't play the charade that he's hurt still or whatever, and they had to admit, hey, we're going to give the guy the run here. I mean, their offense doesn't look that great. I mean, but they're 3-2, so it's
their
hard to...
Their defense is very strong, though.
Yes, 100%.
And to me, that's why I would lean on the Steelers for that good defense against the Raiders, who just hasn't not found their way, and Davante will never play with them again. So,
yeah, and Aiden O'Connell is now starting over Minshew, so they made a quarterback change there, trying to get a spark on that side of the ball. I mean, they're 24th ranked on offense, and going against a 5th ranked Steelers defense. I feel like the Steelers, are gonna probably do their thing. I think though that the Raiders might get that little bit of a spark from O'Connell, and I'm betting on the over on this one, 36.5. Mostly because it's such a low total. And even though the Raiders got smoked by the Broncos last week, they still have managed to put up some points. And I think that the Broncos actually have a decent defense. So they'll be in a similar predicament at this point. But Justin Fields knows that Russell's ready over there on the sideline, ready to come walking on in if he doesn't play well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. Let's ride. I don't know if anybody wants to see that anymore.
Well, speaking of which, we got the Chargers coming off a bye and going to the Broncos.
And we're both just leaning on the Broncos. It's not really a game of any interest of watching. And the Broncos, especially with the injuries that the Chargers have been facing, again, they come off a bye. That makes a difference. The Broncos, though, are the underdogs at home. So that might be one of the theories why you just put your money on the Broncos.
Yeah. No, you got to look like the Broncos are getting their shit together, and they scored a shit ton of points last week. Sean Payton's a smart dude. Yeah, I don't know if you saw him fired up with Bo Nix. Bo Nix was getting angry with him kind of on the sideline, and they were just yelling almost back and forth with each other. Then they went on and scored 3 more touchdowns because it's like they have that fucking feisty thing where he's pushing back on him. I kind of liked it a little bit, to be honest. Divisional game here with the dogs at home, the home dogs. Probably a good bet for the Broncos, but I'm staying away.
Just because, in case.
Yeah, because they're coming off of them.
Who knows what a bye can do for somebody. Well, we're moving on to my lock of the week. The Lions were my lock a lot last season, and it's definitely going to happen again this season because they look terrifyingly good. I mean, man, if I wasn't so dead set on this team making it to the Super Bowl, I would say it's like Ravens Lions or something, whatever. They look awesome. Gotta send out my apologies to the people we love who are Cowboys fans, but it ain't gonna happen. Nope. And I don't even think you guys think it's gonna happen. Lions are coming to Dallas after a bye week. Dallas is not good. They still can't do it well. The Prescott can't find moves. It's a hot mess over there. Cowboys are ranked 24th defensively, and then this Lions team is just top tier all around. They're just going to demolish them. They had a nice little sleepy sleep. That's my lock. It's as easy. -3. It should be -7.
Yeah, I'm going with you. 100% agree. I think the Lions roll on this one. They love turf and stuff, and so that's not a change for them. They have 2 weeks to prepare for the Cowboys. I think that they roll on them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's go Lions. Woo.
All right. Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers. And look, the Falcons are coming off a big win versus the Bucks. A lot of points scored that game. It's a top 10 offense versus the 27th ranked in the league defense for the Panthers. And I just feel like that matchup is just going to be in the Falcons' favor. At -6 points, not gonna be enough here. I like it.
Yeah, I would lean on the over. I know it's kind of high, but I feel like if the Panthers can actually step up and play with the Falcons, that you'll definitely get a bunch of points scored, especially with Kirk Cousins on the other side of that.
Yeah, they would have to be that the Panthers are in the game, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm staying away from it because I'm not sure if the Panthers are going to be in the game or not.
Exactly.
They're at home though, so I mean they really should be in it.
Yep. All right, Sunday night football. Oof, Bengals going to the Giants.
Yeah. So
this is a tough one.
It's a tough one, but I am actually taking the Bengals. What scares me with the Giants is not knowing about neighbors. Thibodeau got hurt. I know they looked good against the Seahawks, but I don't know if that says anything about the Giants yet. It could just be that the Seahawks are tired. We'll see again how they do this week. Is it the Seahawks that they're just falling apart? They're not, they're having their time out of the spotlight now where they're tanking like both of our teams have done so far. And the Bengals, they were able to hang in with the Ravens. They're going to have some kind of hope for themselves. And this is a team where they have a shot. And -3.5, I'm actually taking it. I don't know why. It's one I'm going with. I don't know. I think they'll cover against the Giants, especially with some of these injuries and questionable players coming back.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day here, like you said, the Bengals are able to put up a bunch of points on the Ravens. Giants coming off a big win. This is a tougher one. I was looking back and forth who's got the advantages and stuff, and it looks like, both of their offenses, have an advantage against the defenses in terms of being like higher ranked and yards per game and all that stuff. But the 49 points is so many points that I'm gonna go on the under on this one. I'm kind of betting that like the Giants defense was pretty decent. They're like a 12th ranked type of defense, and I feel like and although the Bengals have a higher ranked offense, that if the Giants can kind of hang in there with them a little bit there, that it might keep that score to a lower one where you're talking 24-21 or something like that, and you're in the under the 49 category. And the only reason I've taken it is because I was looking at it first and going, ooh, this must be a high total, and it was, and I was like, oh, okay, actually that seems pretty damn high, so I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, I would agree. I just think it's very boring to bet the under, so I tend not to do that. But I'll go Bengals. So there you go. We got 2 bets you could possibly take on that game.
Oh boy.
And we get to Monday Night Football. We know all of you will be paying attention to that game because, again, all you've had to hear about is the Jets firing Saleh. So it's on everybody's minds now. Obviously, this is a big game for both teams. Will the Jets tank because Aaron Rodgers is terrible and now they have no coach and they're just falling apart at the seams? And the Bills just had a couple rough weeks there, but they're actually the team of destiny and they're just going to take off on Monday. Hopefully, but I don't know. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be great.
Both of the QBs are a little bit banged up.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about. I mean, Allen. When you have a little, I think he got concussed, but whatever. They didn't call it. They didn't. They said that he's cleared right away.
I mean, if you watch that slow mo, man, he smacked his head on the ground twice. I'm upset with the NFL for just letting that go, and the coach or whoever is in charge of that, letting that happen. Where he walked in the tent, it seemed like did some smelling salts and was back out for the next play. Like, ugh.
That's like what they did in the 80s and shit. I mean, there's supposed to be independent spotters that are medical people that actually say, that guy's going to get flagged for concussion, take him in a tent, check him out, make sure he gets cleared. I don't know how he got cleared so quickly. They said they checked him for an ankle. They checked him for, he's out of breath.
He said he got hit in the chest and it was a chest thing and he was fine a second later. But, and I want that to be true, but
Sure.
You watch that slow-mo, his chest is not hit at all. Yep. Now, maybe it was like lower upwards. You could kind of come up with that. You have to trust that the NFL isn't fucking him over as a person, as a human being, but I don't know.
And the Bills don't want to. I mean, this is their guy who there's their whole, all their money, their team. They don't want to
I don't even think they care about the money. It's the team because everybody gets a concussion here and there, but you're out for a couple of weeks. He's a team. We couldn't handle another 2 week of losses because we have to put Trubisky in, who he may be fine. It's not like It's not like we have a backup who's never done this before. He's been everywhere to every team. But anyway, he's in. Your man though, he's got ankle sprain. He barely could get up. Getting at the end of the game, he's mentally tired. It seems like frustrated. So is Josh Allen frustrated. So we definitely have 2 quarterbacks that are just like trying to come into a really important game. I do want to say out loud though, Rapp returns this week. He was in a concussion protocol. He ends up being cleared. He can play. But we did hear today, which is Wednesday, Oliver Cook and against Shakir, he was out last week, did not practice today. But today's kind of the walkthroughs. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be in. Cook, they said, is like kind of a toe thing. I think because no one's really harped on it, I saw in one little, Instagram clip that the 3 of them didn't practice, but they're not talking about them being out. Both our teams have till Monday. We get an extra day to rest. So I'm pretty sure they're all going to be in, but just to they weren't injury list worthy, but if you are looking at bets, maybe you wait on it. I don't know. Obviously, if we have all...
or just keep an eye on it. If you're going to bet it, make sure you know who's going to be in at that point. You'll
know more. If we have all 3
tomorrow.
of those out, forget it. I mean, I don't even know how it would take a miracle, which is possible, but that's a crazy, congratulations, Jets. There you go,
Yeah, this one's coming with a lot of question marks on it. I think Aaron Rodgers hobbled around a little bit. The Jets offense has not been playing well. They might change who's calling plays on Monday. They might not. Bills have some injuries a little bit there, so we'll see what happens with them. They've been looking shaky the last 2 games. So it's like the Jets and the Bills both need this one, and the winner is going to be sitting at the top of the AFC East. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, that's what's going to come down to. So You know,
And we're all going to the game, which is
yeah,
also,
we'll be there. We'll
it's like
be at
we
the
kind of
game.
want to have a fun game at least. You know, one of us is going to be angry, but at least if it's close or something.
Sure, yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they both have, you know, their defenses are going to be, the under over is 41. So it's not going to be like a shootout type of game. You know, it's probably going to be a little bit frustrating.
Could be go Bills.
You know, it could be 20-17 type of a game.
Yeah. Usually what happens with both our teams lately,
yeah.
anyway.
And like, if the Jets have any chance this year at all, you got to get the W at home with division teams. And because if you don't beat them here, what are you going to do when you go in late December to Buffalo? You're going to lose that game. So get the win now, and then, you know, we'll both be 3-3 and still trying to figure out our lives. Or the Jets will be fucking 2-4, and then, you know, people will be saying, maybe we should give Tyrod Taylor a chance. He's pretty good. He's at least not hobbling around out there like Aaron. Let him rest for 3 weeks. I guarantee that's what the New York press will say. So I don't even want to fucking hear it. It's so frustrating. And I say New York press. It's not even that. It's Good Morning Football. They're sitting in New York. Everybody, you know, it's like, you know, NFL Network.
I was going to say New Jersey press, but okay, I get what you're getting at now. The world press.
Yeah.
The United States press. But I need to say, because you took that, and I think you're going to jinx everything if we end on that note. The Bills need this win as well, because they're supposed to be the most amazing team. They're supposed to be better than your team. And so they need this win for that reason, and that reason alone. Go Bills.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. What are we actually betting? What are we betting? Yeah. Got some picks going here.
All right, so I'm taking the Texans at a pick'em versus the Colts. That's a Sunday early game. I love pick'ems. Texans are at home, coming off of a bye week. Colts starting to trail off a little bit. Not the strongest team, so I think that this is an easy one.
Yep, same game. I'm going with the over 42.5. I just think that they have some bad defenses over there and some, you know, offenses that can still score a few points. And then we're both on the Packers minus the 5 points versus the Cardinals. In a little bit of the rain, but it's not going to be enough. You know, it doesn't matter because the Packers are going to be strong on this one. They're better on both sides of the ball than the Cardinals are, and I think they'll be good.
Then I'm taking the Bucks minus 3.5 versus the Saints. By the way, the Bucks are arriving very early. They may even be there already because of all the crazy hurricane. God bless all you people. Could get up to 15 feet up there. That's insane. You can't even it's not unsurvivable. Anyway, so they're already going to be in New Orleans getting their routine going, and so that's another thing that's helpful. Saints are all banged up, so I'm definitely going Bucks on that one.
Yep. Then next is my lock. Texans minus the 7 points versus Drake May and the Patriots. I don't think so. Passing offense is going to be too much against that bad passing defense of the Pats.
And I agree with him.
And I'm on the Steelers-Raiders game over the 36.5 points just because it's such a low total again. And I feel like, you know, there'll be a little bit of scoring. And, you know, we'll see what happens. This is a very low total.
And then we have my lock of the week. Back to the good old Lions as a lock. -3 versus the Cowboys.
Back at them.
Back at it. Lions coming off a bye week. They're already a great team, and they're going against the Cowboys, who are not a great team. I just think this is an easy one. -3 spread. It seems way too low. So let's go Lions.
Yep. And then I'm on the Falcons minus the 6 points versus the Panthers. They're going to ride the hot hand of Kirk Cousins after that 509-yard passing performance that he had last week. And I think they're going to roll on him.
And then we're both working on the Bengals-Giants Sunday Night Football game, but I'm taking the Bengals at -3.5 just because I think the Giants are a little too banged up. Bengals held in there with the Ravens. They're showing a little bit of hope. This might be the game that does it for them.
Yep, and then I'm just on the under in that game. Very high total that they have there, and I just feel like if the Giants' defense can make this a close game, that they'll end up being under that 49. So that's pretty much where we're at. Look, if anybody's down there in Florida, you know, stay safe. It sucks. I know even people on the east coast of Florida are going to get hit, and there's already rain coming in, and you know it's not going to be good because the way the storm's going to whip around and blast both sides of Florida. So be safe out there and hope you've already evacuated, because if you didn't, you're not in good shape. You see that guy on the boat who said he's not going to evacuate? He's literally in Tampa where all the water is going to come in, and he's like, I'm not going to evacuate. They're like, you're going to die. And he's like, no. He goes, I'm on a boat.
Yeah.
He goes, if the water comes up, the houses stay the same, but I'm on a boat and I go up. And I think he's not calculating the fact that there's some waves associated with it.
There's like, cars floating around that are going to knock him over.
Knocking around.
Yeah.
Wild people down in Florida. But that's for another day.
Yep.
All right. Like and subscribe if you can, folks. We love you all. And
Go
we'll
Bills.
See you next week. Go Jets.
Go Bills.
Go Jets.
Go Bills. Go Bills.
Jets.
Go Bills. Let's
Go
go
Jets.
Buffalo. Hey, hey,
Go Jets.
hey. Let's go Buffalo. Number 1 in the
Universe?
conference.
I want to make money.